Well, hi everyone. This is Kareen from Kareen's VSG, and I'm a mess because I have been gardening this morning. I'm creating a new garden, and I'm going to have a video up, I think, on that pretty soon. But I just realized I haven't posted since a year ago, and so many of you do not know the journey that we've been on. But it's not a good journey. It's not one you ever want to go on with anybody. There have been some blessings and some curses. Let's just put it that way. Sorry about my hair. Maybe I should just take it down. And it can blow in the wind, which we have wind out here. So anyway, a year ago, August, as you know, my daughter got cancer in January of 2021. She learned she had cancer on January 20th, and she did everything she could and fought as long as she could. And on June 10th, actually it was 1.5 years to the day, on June 10th, she passed away. The cancer just grew and grew and grew, and there was nothing they could do. It was in her pancreas, it was in her arterial veins, it was in her adrenal gland, of course, and kidneys and livers and lungs. And over the year since I've talked to you, she had COVID 3 times total. The last time was at Christmas this last year, and she ended up being on oxygen for I think 2 or 3 months, 2 months maybe. She was at my house for 3 weeks recovering from that bout of cancer, or that bout of COVID. It was pretty hard on her. It wore her out. But she was always so upbeat about everything, and it was just hard. So, anyway, things developed quicker than what we expected. She did chemo twice, 2 rounds of chemo and 1 round of radiation, and we kept getting a little bit of hope, and then it would just regrow. It was very, very aggressive, and there was nothing we could do. She went down to the Mayo by helicopter because the last time she went in, she was having trouble. She couldn't even walk. She went to go someplace, and she stepped outside her door and tried to go down the steps, and she just couldn't go any further, and she just sat down. And they took her to the ER, and they didn't know what to do with her here in town, so they put her on a helicopter down to the Mayo Clinic. And when I knew that they were going to the Mayo Clinic with a helicopter, I knew this was probably it. I stayed in the parking lot at the hospital and just cried and just cried. Because I just knew that her journey was coming to a close. But we still didn't know. The doctors down there were trying to make a decision on what they were going to do next. There was 3 different things they could do, and they didn't know which one to go first, and before they could even make the decision. So she went down there on a Monday. I had promised her daughters that I would take them to camp meeting. Sorry. And so when she went down, I'm like, Liz, I don't need to go. I can stay here. And she's like, no, Mom, you promised them you'd take them to camp meeting this year. And so I headed down to camp meeting, and my husband and her fiance went down to the Mayo to be with her. And that was on a Monday. And Thursday, her body just said, that's it. I'm done. And she didn't respond anymore. And so her daughters and I and my sister went down to Rochester to be with her on Friday morning. And when I got there, they had a counselor for the girls who was wonderful. She explained what was going on. She took pictures of the room. She took pictures of Liz so the kids wouldn't be scared when they went in there. And then I went in there
And my husband was there. I hadn't seen him yet since I got there. My husband was in there, and she was out. She was gone. And so they had her on life support. And while I was in there, they tried to clean out the tube. And she was just fighting it. I mean, and it was all blood. Everything that came up was blood. And I just said, no, this can't happen. And so we went back to the room and made the decision as a family that the life support would be withdrawn because she wouldn't have wanted to suffer. And she wasn't there anyway. She pretty much, her body had shut down. And so it took them a while to get that connected. We all went back and said our goodbyes and held her hand and sang some songs. Told her that we loved her and that we would take care of the girls. But that she should just rest. She should just go to sleep and rest. And so once they got all the drugs and stuff that they needed to give her, and then when they disconnected her, it took 15 minutes. And she was gone. And I was really, really strong. The only thing I can attribute to that is that the prayers that people were praying for us were being sent heavenward, and heaven was right there. The angels were in that room. Jesus was there with us. You could feel it. I was so strong. But I knew that the decision had to be made, and I did not want her to suffer any longer. She could never recover. And so we decided to allow her to fall asleep until Jesus returns. And we have that hope that when Jesus returns, she will be risen up and we will see her again. And so there was such strength in our family. And even the nurses were around, and she's like, I can't believe you guys are like this. I mean, but we know time is short. We know that this world is ending quickly. And we will get to see her again. When Jesus returns, blows the trumpet, and raises the dead from the ground. And so her two daughters took it fairly well. I was surprised at how strong they were. That had to be prayers. The older one, of course, knows more, so she was a little bit more emotional. The younger one was more like, oh, okay, Mom has been in and out of the hospital since I was 5.5, so it was more like, for her, it was like she was ready for it, because over the past 1.5 years, Mom had been in and out of the hospital for days on end, and they were with me. So I said to him, I says, well, do you want to go back to camp meeting, or do you want to go home with Dad and Opa? And they wanted to go back to camp meeting. So we did. We went back to camp meeting, and we had to pretty much, my car and everything was still there. So we went back to camp meeting, and they prayed for us, and it was a blessing. It was really a blessing to have been able to go back to camp meeting, and the girls got back into the routine. The older one stuck with me for probably, I don't know, all night Friday and all the next morning on Sabbath. She wouldn't let go of my hand, and I just allowed her to be next to me. The other one just went off to class and told everybody what happened, and then she thought about what she did, and so then she was kind of like, I don't want to go back to class. But they were so good with my kids, and it was probably the best thing that we could have done, to have them there for those few days till Sunday when we went home. It was pretty, it's still pretty traumatic. I've lost my daughter, but I've lost my best friend too. She was my go-to girl. She was the one I would say, let's go for lunch, or let's go for supper, or let's go get a Dairy Queen, or let's go to a movie, or let's go to the beach or something. She was that person for me. And so I lost a friend as well as my daughter. But I wouldn't have wanted her to suffer anymore. It wasn't worth it to me to have her suffering. I would have traded my life immediately for hers had I been able to do that, because she was a beautiful person. We had her memorial 3 weeks later. We thought we were having it far enough away from my older daughter, who was pregnant with and due with her baby any day. We thought that she would even be born on Liz's birthday, which was June 18th. But she wasn't. She waited till the 25th. And then we had the funeral of the 2nd of July, or the memorial. And I was devastated that my older daughter couldn't be there, because her daughter developed jaundice, and so she ended up in the hospital for a week. So we dealt with the death of our daughter, and then my older daughter has a baby, and then we were dealing with the jaundice that she was dealing with, and it was pretty serious. And she was in there a week. She's back home now though, and she's on some medication for the seizures and stuff that she was having. But yeah, so I was upset about both of that. And the memorial was there had to be 300 people there. She knew so many people in this town. I grew up here, and she knew more than I did. But everybody loved her. She was just one of those people. And then she had a business called Forget Me Not Grooming, and the dogs loved her. The people loved her. She had a very successful business, and her partner Andy is going to be taking that over. And the girls are going to own a part of that business. And then she has another worker there another independent contractor there named Taylor, who is wonderful with the girls and everything. So her business will go on. So Forget Me Not Grooming will still be around, and Lila eventually will want to work there. I don't know about Alexis, but Lila wants to. So anyway, but then we're dealing with all of the legal stuff, and my concern was for the girls and making sure that they had somebody that they could hang on. And so they will be living with us permanently or full-time when school starts. Their dad has been wonderful with them over this period and has really helped out, and he's gone above and beyond to make them feel they're okay. So it's a sad thing to tell you, but we kind of knew it was coming. It's just that you never want to leave or lose your daughter. You never want to lose your daughter or any of your kids. It's not normal, but I have to be there for those girls. I have to be there for Adam. I have to be there for my husband when he loses it. And he's there for me. So it's a sad thing. But Satan is an angry, angry man. Angry. And he is roaring around trying to drag us down. And I'm not going to let him do that. No. I prayed every single day that God would heal her. And that wasn't in God's plan. We don't know why. It wasn't in his plan. But there is a bigger plan. Oh, my nose is red. There is a bigger plan that we don't know. But as my daughter said, if one person is saved from her journey, then it's worth it all. So I just want you to remember that. And her memorial is online. It's on Grace Bible Chapel from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. It's her memorial is online. So if you wanted to go watch it, you can. But she was quite the lady. And I was proud of her as my daughter. So anyway, now my physical stuff. As I told you probably a year ago, I developed, I hope the wind is not going to make it hard to hear. Oh, wait a minute. So I talked to my support person from my surgery. And when she heard about my daughter, she says, I don't want you to worry about your weight. I don't want you to worry about what you're eating. I don't want you to worry about anything. You just take care of your daughter. So I did. I didn't worry about anything. And I did gain some weight. I think I went from 155 to, I think the highest I got was 164, I think. The other day I stepped on the scale and I was back down to 155. So I'm okay with that. I'm fine. I've had some issues, like when I eat in the morning. It seems like when I eat and then an hour later, whatever, I get cramps, like I have to go to the bathroom. But it's cramps, it's like hard cramps, and so it kind of gives me some pain. There was one time not too long ago I actually threw up from the pain. So it's still possible to throw up from that pain. And so I decided that I was just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I've lost the 9 pounds or whatever that I had gained during COVID. I still would like to get down again to in the 140s. I'm at 154, I think it was 154. But I'd like to get down to the 140s again. I think I was more comfortable down in the 140s. But if I don't, whatever. I've had some UTIs, quite a few of them, like 3 within the last year. So the doctors are kind of concerned about that. And I've had some issues with my ears. When I've been working I started a job this summer at a little place, a little garden center about 6 blocks from here called Bloomers. Beautiful little place, great garden center. I started working there in the store and I loved it. All my checks went for plants, of course, but I loved it. And so, but while I was there, about halfway through the day, my right ear would start to plug up and it sounded like I was talking in a tube. Kind of like I do right now because my nose is stuffed. But it would like it wouldn't pop, so I would do this trying to get it to pop and nothing would happen. So I'm going to see an ear, nose and throat specialist. I was supposed to see them yesterday, but a week ago Sunday I picked up COVID somewhere, first time in 3 years, and so I had COVID all last week. And even though they say 5 days is, you could go in 5 days. I think I picked it up from somebody who had passed their 5 days. So I decided to, that's probably making lots of noise. I decided to just wait till my 10 days was up before I go back to work and before I go see the doctor. So I've rescheduled the appointment now again for the middle of the month. So I'm hoping that they can figure out what's going on. It might be a jaw issue because this jaw locks up quite a bit. It clicks. It clicks when I chew sometimes. And so this side does over here. So I don't know if I need to see a chiropractor. I'm just going to see the ear, nose, and throat specialist. I don't know if I need a massage. I don't know. But I have got to figure that out because that's very irritating to be trying to work and your ear is echoing and you're hearing your breath. You can hear yourself breathing. And so I'm going to figure that out. But otherwise, I've been doing really well. This summer, I've been on my feet quite a bit. Winter was terrible. Did nothing but sit at home, hibernated. That's why my husband and my daughter told me I should get a job. So that's what I was doing. And but now that I have the girls, it's a little bit tougher figuring out schedules and all of that stuff. So maybe next year it'll be a little bit different. I don't know. But I go back to work at the school on August 22nd. I start school again, doing an aide at the church school my granddaughters go to. And so I'll be starting that up. And then Bloomers will be probably closing in September or October. So they don't really need me after September, yeah. So I might work just the next month and then on the days that I'm not working at the school. So anyway, so this is already 20 minutes long or nearly 20 minutes long. So I'm going to go, but I just wanted to give you an update as to what happened with my daughter, what's happening with me. And I will try to update you on what's going on with the girls and myself. I still have a lot of restriction. The other day I was telling my husband, I says, I can't even eat a Jello, one of those little Jello bowls. I eat about half of it and I am full.
And so it might have something to do with the gelatin. I don't know, but boy, it fills my stomach up. So I can't even finish one of those still. And I can eat a half of a sandwich maybe. I can't even eat a whole hot dog. I eat like maybe 1/3 of a hamburger. We've been eating a lot of those Beyond Meat burgers. Is that what they call it? Yeah. Oh my goodness, those are so good. I broil them under my broiler for 4 minutes or 5 minutes on both sides. Put some seasonings on it. Oh, we just love them. They're so, so good. Who needs meat when you got that? So we've been eating those, and we've been eating a lot of hot dogs this year, and I don't know why, because I don't even like hot dogs. But I must crave it or something. I don't know. So anyway, you guys take care. I appreciate it if you would, if this is the first time you're watching, subscribe. I know I haven't updated. My life has been crazy the last 1.5 years, 2 years. So I'll try to keep an update going at least once every other month or so. I can't promise. A lot of the people that I followed on YouTube are gone. They don't even make videos anymore. I think Dory's the only one that I watch on video or YouTube anymore. The rest are pretty much gone. So life just kind of keeps going on when you have vertical sleeve gastrectomy. You start your life and you keep going, and things change and your story just gets old. So I appreciate those of you who've hung with me and contacted me about my daughter. That is such a blessing that people care. And so just know that your words and your prayers were very, very valuable and helped us to be strong and secure, that everything was going to be okay. Because that's the last thing my daughter always said to me. Well, she said to me when she left on the helicopters, "Mom, everything's going to be okay." Little did she know, but she always then finished with, "God's got this." So that's what I end my video with today. God's got this. Just remember that. He knows the end from the beginning. I love y'all. Take care. And if you could please comment below, I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to hear from you. I miss Lisa's videos so much, but I totally understand what she's going through. So I'm being understanding, but Lisa, I really miss watching you and your cheerful smile. And I know you're there praying for me, so I want to thank you for that. All right, and so you all take care. All right, bye-bye.